It rained this morning, but it is quite pleasant outside. The roof remains closed because it is really hot and humid if it were to be open. So the Rockies and Marlins will play Game 4 getaway day for the Rockies. They'll head to Houston immediately following the action here. Miami stays home. They'll have a two-stepper with the Yankees beginning tomorrow. Charlie Blackmon will lead things off. Quick update on Corey Dickerson. He is available today. The plantar fascia bothered him yesterday when he was running out of ground out, and he had to come out of the ball game, but he checked out much better this morning, so he is available, though not in the starting lineup. Let's take a look at Walt's lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. DJ LeMahieu will bat second, then Tulowitzki, Cargo, and Arenado. Cargo has great numbers against Dan Herron. In fact, between Tulowitzki and Gonzalez, they have 7 home runs against the former Pepperdine star. Ben Paulson, Nick Hundley, Brandon Barnes again in left field, and Jorge De La Rosa on the mound. So here we go. Dan Herron kind of reinvented himself. That's a fastball, folks, at 84. Used to be a hard thrower, Huey, and now he's one of the softest tossers in the game.
Second lowest in the major leagues. Only Mark Burley has a lower average velocity. For Dan, it's 86 miles an hour. A couple numbers step out. It's opponent's batting average. Right-handers hitting a mere 197 against Herron this year. He's 3-0 with the 196 at home. Out on the road, 3-2 with the 4 ERA.
When you saw this much of a difference in velocity, when you're used to seeing 92, 93, 94, 92 being the average fastball, and the fastball's down 84, 85, what adjustments do you make?
Really think off field. Hit it to the opposite gap, because if you start to think, oh man, I'm going to jump on this fastball and pull it, you're going to end up rolling over every single ball. So even more than anybody else, take the inside out approach.
Blackmon fouls that pitch off. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. What's interesting about both Herron and De La Rosa, they throw a secondary pitch almost as frequently as they throw their fastball. For Dan Herron, it's the slider.
He'll throw it sometimes more than the fastball in the game. Yeah. Just depending on how he feels that day. But for Herron, the fastball is about 42% of the time, the slider 40% of the time.
And conversely, when we break down Jorge De La Rosa, he throws his splitter almost as much as he's throwing his fastball these days.
And this is what these guys do. That's why you're always reinventing yourself as a ball player.
There's a breaking ball. This is golfed a long way to right. Stay up and stay fair. Home run, Charlie Blackmon. That's a good start for a team that had 2 runs in their last 29 innings. Blackmon with a leadoff home run against Dan Herron, his 8th of the year.
And the first time in this series they've jumped out to a lead. And for Charlie, he pulls this because he's thinking to hit it the other way. And then when the slider comes down and into you, it's a natural reaction to try to pull it. And Charlie kept his hands inside and gets it over the wall in right field. That is the 9th home run given up by Dan Herron to a left-handed batter.
And now DJ's up there. Two 2-0 on LeMahieu. Currently an 8-game hitting streak going for LeMahieu. He's had a 6-gamer and a 10-gamer all since May 18th. He's hit 24 of his last 26 ball games. That's pretty good. That's on the corner for a strike. Well, Dan Herron's always given up the long ball. He's had a great career. He's won 148 games, 24 games over 500, a 374 lifetime ERA, but he gives up home runs.
Well, he's had 10 straight seasons of 30 or more starts. So you're going to go out there that many times, you are going to give up some home runs. 341 starts since 2005, the most in the major leagues. But Charlie Blackmon says, thank you very much. I'll take the slider and hit it out.
That's the 12th home run he's allowed this year. And this ball's well hit to right, but it's at Stanton. That happened to DJ yesterday. He hit a line shot right at Stanton. One out, and that'll bring up Tulowitzki. And while we have a moment, let's take a look at how the defense will align for Dan Jennings' club this afternoon. It's again Yelich, Osuna, and Stanton in the outfield. Prado, Echeverria, Gordon, and Baker. Jeff getting the start naturally against a left-hander. He's at first base. And JT Realmuto getting his third start in the series. Troy's riding a 12-game hitting streak. It matches his career best, and that's strike one at 85. So we got to the ballpark today about 10:15 and just passed by the video room. And Troy Tulowitzki and Charlie Blackmon were studying tape not only of their swing, but they were studying Dan Herring. And went by there again probably 25 minutes later. They were still in the same spot.
You need to do that when you haven't seen Herring for a while, but you've seen him plenty in your career. But you also look at your swing to analyze. Am I doing everything right? Am I staying in the same spot in the batter's box? So especially when you're coming into a series where you've lost 4 in a row, you lost the last one at home, lost the first rate, and you're not scoring many runs and a lot of strikeouts yesterday.
15 strikeouts in all yesterday, which even as well as Latos was throwing, and you can tip your cap, but that's way too many. Here's what Troy has done during his 12-game hitting streak. Overall average at .307. Three and two. Cargo on deck.
D. Gordon moved over to the shortstop side of second base on the shift.
And the surprising thing is Herring wasn't pitching to that. He was trying to stay away, and Dan looking off in disgust. He doesn't typically walk many, just his 15th walk of the year. So now with a run in, 1 out, a man on, and here comes a guy that has been troublesome for him throughout his career. Cargo with 4 home runs, a .391 average, and 7 driven in lifetime against Dan Herring.
8 for 15. That's when you step into the box and you're feeling pretty confident.
Strike one. Now they have the flip again, as they've done throughout the series. Echeverria staying on the left side. Prado going over there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cargo 1 hit in the series, 1 for 12. He's not alone. Rockies have not done much offensively. 2 runs in the series in 3 games.
Make that 9 for 23 for Carlos against Herring. I shorted him some.
1 and 2.
My teacher in grade school wouldn't be happy with my penmanship.
Got to be able to read your own writing, right? Two and 2. And you can see he really hasn't thrown Cargo a strike, but it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, and that's how Herring operates now. He gets you to chase. You could hear Field and Colbert saying that's outside. It's 3 and 2. How do you start Troy?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I start Troy to stay out of a potential double play. I'm not too worried about Cargo striking out because of his numbers against Herring.
Yep, and it's a pop-up on the left side. Troy sees it. Echeverria almost had that roll out of the glove.
Popped out.
2 gone. That'll bring up Nolan. Well, there's a hockey phrase that I know you're familiar with, being a big hockey fan. In big games, your best players have to be the best players on the ice. Well, this is not a hockey game, and I know you play 162 games, and this is the middle of the season. But the Rockies have lost 4 straight. They need this game badly, and you need your best players to lead the way.
Kind of what Stanton has done in this series, with the home runs and the doubles and the 8 RBIs that he's driven in. Yeah, you need this game. The Marlins have not swept a 4-game series here at Marlins Park.
Period.
Ever.
Never have.
Yeah.
I know it's just the 4th year, but the last time they did it was against the Astros in 2011, north of here at Fort Lauderdale at the football stadium. They've only swept one 4-game series from the Rockies, and that was way back in 1996. Two outs, a run in, Tulo's at first, 2-0 on Nolan, and that's fouled back in our direction. Nolan just 2 for 20 this year against Marlins pitching. Yanked foul.
This is where that was a show me fastball inside for Herron to go back out again, either with the fastball or the slider.
Outfield straight up and deep for Arenado. Ooh, you got a pitch there.
And when you're not hitting against a team, those are the pitches you miss.
The hardest pitch he's thrown at 87. Dan Herron's quite an athlete. 6'5". Go back to his days in Malibu and Pepperdine, sitting up there overlooking the Pacific Ocean. He was a second-team All-American as a utility player. He was 11-2 his junior year on the mound. He also hit .308, 5 home runs, 47 RBIs. In fact, when he went to college, he was more of a position player, and they developed him as a pitcher because of the body type.
Is there a more beautiful campus than Pepperdine overlooking the ocean?
I don't know how much.
Tough to study.
Yeah, I don't know how much work I'd be getting done there. This ball's driven to left field and deep. Did he get it? You bet. Off the Clevelander side. Nolan Arenado with a 2-run shot. And the Rockies with 3 in the first after 3 days of scoring just 2 runs.
Well, it's kind of fitting that Nolan finally hit a home run, because he's hit 2 balls in this ballpark that should have been home runs. They were clipped pretty well. They'd gone away and up to Nolan. They decide to change and come back down, and he made him pay. How about that swing? Inside about mid-thigh, and he did not miss that ball. Boy, everything coming together. Front foot lands. The timing was perfect. And off the back wall of the Clevelander.
Tell you what, streak just came to an end for the Marlins with that home run by Nolan and the earlier home run by Charlie Blackmon. It's the first time they've allowed more than 1 home run in a game at Marlins Park after 48 consecutive ball games where they allowed 1 or less. Rockies getting that done in the first inning. That Paulson fouls that pitch off. De La Rosa probably got a little smile on his face. Say, boys, keep hitting.
Thank you.
And Herron has been lights out here at Marlins Park. A 1.96 home ERA coming in, 3-0. There's the numbers, the comparison home and road. Two and 2. high fly ball to shallow left. Echeverria going out. Man, he's got great range. And he gives Yelich a hug. The Rockies come up with 3 in the first. A home run from Charlie Blackmon on a curveball. And then a 2-run shot after a lengthy at-bat from Nolan Arenado, his 16th of the year. Good start. Shot from Nolan Arenado, off to a 3-0 beginning here in South Florida. D. Gordon's going to lead things off. He's got a lofty .353 batting average, an on-base percentage of almost 38%. And the rest of the lineup for the Marlins presented by Southwest Airlines. Martin Prado again will bat in a 2 spot that Yelich, Stanton, Osuna. Jeff Baker eats up lefties. He's had good success against Jorge in the past. JT Realmuto has a 3-run home run earlier in this series. Danny Echeverria, and then Dan Herron. Numbers on De La Rosa, it'll be his 9th start. ERA's coming down with the work we discussed over the last 4 outings. And
his first start on the road since May 16th when the Rockies were out in LA. In his 2 previous road starts, 2.19 ERA and a 1.59 batting average against. And today he's got the early 3-0 lead. Have a quick shutdown inning and then let that offense go back and try to attack Dan Herron again.
So here we go with D. Gordon. Nolan Arenado about 75 feet away with Gordon. And that pitch is inside ball 1, a fastball at 88.
Well, and if D's going to bunt, he'll do it left on left. He'll pull it with him to first and then have it become a track meet to the bag. Right-handers, he likes to push it towards third base more.
There's a strike. Did you find it easier to take it with you left on left?
Yes. Yes, it was much easier because you just create the bat angle in front of you and the ball's coming from that direction. So you get it and you pull it with you. Plus the left-hander's falling off the mound towards the third base side.
That's another strike, 1 and 2. We get asked about De La Rosa all the time, especially outside the division, guys that don't see him quite as much, and they look at the record and they marvel. This is a fair ball. And going for 2, and a great job holding D. Gordon was Brandon Barnes. I mean, he flew to that baseball. And that's a double. I think that's a double probably 75–80% of the time where he hit that for D. Gordon. Great job by Barnes.
Well, and for Brandon, he got around that ball to make a throw. A splitter down and away off the edge of the bat for D. Gordon. Catches the fair part of the field by a foot, and then Brandon comes up, and Gordon has better thoughts about it when he saw where the throw was going. Now, if he probably went kept going to second base, he's going to make it just because the throw had 4 or 5 hops on it. But you can't tell that as a base runner.
Martin Prado takes ball 1 to finish the thought. We get asked all the time outside the division about De La Rosa, and the thing we come back to all the time is he just wins. He finds a way to win.
Bottom line for a pitcher, you can talk about ERA, but at the end of the game, do you have one less run on the scoreboard for you than you do the opposition? I think that's how pitchers need to look at it. Say, I gave our club a chance to win.
Two O's in there, 2-1. One of the other real impressive numbers about the recent run of De La Rosa's last 4 is that his whip, walks plus hits per inning pitched, is .097. The league average is about 128. So basically 1.3 runners per inning, and he's less than 1 right now over the last 4, which means he's not giving up a lot of hits and he's not walking guys.
Just 3 walks in his last 4 starts. That helps. You've only given up 15 hits in the 24 2/3.
D. Gordon's picked off. Need a good throw. Paulson makes it. He throws to Tulowitzki, and Gordon is caught stealing for the 9th time this year.
Well, textbook. First of all, the call from Tommy Runnels, who makes these calls, that was a correct one. But then Ben closing distance. He catches this ball, and by the time he delivers it, he creates the angle to second base so Troy can catch it and make the tag.
And this is bounced to third. Retreating is Arenado. And nope.
Might want to tag him.
I don't know. Prado went down hard. He's going to be safe on a low throw by Arenado. That's going to be an error on Nolan. And Martin still wins. He came out on that right shoulder hard.
Ben caught his feet unintentional off the throw from Nolan. So he backs up and then kind of threw it sideways and didn't follow the throw, dropped down, and then Ben, when he went to tag, knocked Martin off balance, but then also the glove catches the foot as he goes into the bag, and he tumbles and lands right on the right shoulder.
It'll be the 6th error on Arenado. I think you described that accurately. If he comes over the top, he's going to get more carry.
Because you could see how his momentum was carrying him more to the outfield instead of following the throw towards first base. When you throw sidearm, your momentum's going to take you sideways.
This is one to watch because it's his right arm. Can you know, if he can't lift it higher than we just saw, he can't play. He can't throw that way, and I wonder about his ability to swing the bat.
You worry about, is it a separated shoulder? Is there any damage to the rotator? I think he's going to have to come out. I mean, he's a tough guy, but he's not going to be able to throw, and it still looks like it's too painful for him to continue, and it is.
Bring Solano in, or they could bring Dietrich in, but one of those 2 guys got to come in the ball game now. So Martin Prado has to exit. Well, Dan Jennings makes that decision. We'll show you defensively how the Rockies are aligned today. Barnes in left, Charlie is in center, and Cargo's in right. Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Paulson, Nick Hundley doing the catching. Mike McHenry had the gear on yesterday. So it is Solano. Yelich picked things up. He's hitting 18 of his last 28 games to raise his average 50 points from 178 to 228.
Might not seem like much to Christian Yelich, but to hit 250 after what he did in April and May is trending in the right direction for him.
That's why they say baseball, you just got to keep grinding. Walt used that term after the Rockies loss again last night with all the offensive issues.
It's also why they call it an average. You're batting average.
That's a great point.
It's not a batting month.
Well, we've said this many times. If you take a 300 hitter, he doesn't hit 300 in April, 300 in May, 300 in June, 300 in July, 300 in August, 300 in September. 320, 280, 350, 247.
Right.
And you add them all up, and the average.
Well, and you also go on Baseball Reference, and if you look at a player there, it says his 162 game average. So that's why they do it that way.
And it's the same thing with the offense right now. The Rockies have a good lineup. They enjoyed a lot of success against the Cardinals for a couple of days, got shut down in the final game, and here the first 3 games they've got shut down. On average, you believe that this offense is going to score plenty of runs. They're going through a period right now, at least before the first inning, where it was a struggle. What the Rockies have to get to, though, we've said this the last few years. Look what Toronto's doing right now. They've won 10 in a row. Every team's going to have a period where they lose, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. The Rockies haven't had 1 or 2 of those win 10 out of 12 periods the last few years. That's what you have to have.
Yeah, that's what's been missing. I remember one time when I was with the Rangers, we ended up winning 12 or 13 games in a row, and then we turned around and lost 11 to 12. And so after a 25-game stretch, we were 1 game ahead of where we were.
It was basically a push.
A push, but you still had that winning streak. You still go out there and throw a bunch of games together.
Ball 4, so he loses Yelich. And now De La Rosa has 2 on with 1 out. And here comes Stanton. And this is what we were talking about in the dugout earlier with Walt Weiss. Would he, as hot as Stanton is, pass on him? And if that meant passing on him without a base being open, he said he would consider it.
Because of what he's done in these 6 games, and he's also done it throughout his career. The 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, couple doubles. In this series alone, he has 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and 8 RBIs.
Well, it's a rough situation for De La Rosa in that he didn't make it himself. Nolan's got to throw out Prado. But the walk to Yelich, that's on Jorge. It's left on left. And this ball's lined to center field. And there's Charlie for the 2nd out, so you can take a deep breath. Stanton got a pitch to hit. He hit it hard, but right at the Rockies center fielder, 2 outs. And now Marcell Osuna had a 13-game hitting streak snapped last night. It's the first time in his career he went an entire game without getting a hit against the Rockies. He had hit in all 13 of his previous games against Colorado. Chops this one foul. Pretty good stab in the Marlins dugout.
That's why you wear a glove there.
Good fastball. Reached back and got a little bit more. That's some cut to it also.
You want to sit by the dugout? What do you have to bring? You have to bring your glove. No problem.
Henderson Alvarez, starting pitcher for the Marlins. Curveball, see you later. Great pitch by Jorge De La Rosa. So he works out of it. 2 men are left on. There was a hit and an error and a walk. Rockies leading 3-0 as we go to the second. Go places by Coors Banquet Beer, brewed in Golden, Colorado since 1873. And by Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. Rockies got 3 in the first, home run by Blackman, a 2-run shot by Nolan Arenado. As we go to the top of the second inning, it'll be Nick Hundley, Brandon Barnes, and then De La Rosa.
Did you feed the fish today, Drew?
Evidently not. Oh, there
you are.
Who's in charge of that? Who's in charge of that in the off season? Oh shoot, it's December. Anybody been by there lately?
Anybody feed the fish?
The goldfish you got. I mean, what was the lifespan of a goldfish? And the Rockies will get the leadoff man on as Nick Hundley gets plunked.
Dan Herron threw 37 pitches the first inning.
I think the Rockies' overall familiarity with Herron is helpful. Not that everybody's got 25, 30 at-bats against him, but they've seen him. Nick Hundley obviously has seen him being in the NL West. LeMahieu, Tulowitzki, Gonzalez, Arenado, as opposed to, what's this guy throw? Where's the release point? That sort of thing. You buy into that?
Yes, because he's thrown against them 19 times in his career. 7-9 with a 5.12 ERA, and even worse if you look at the last 7 starts. So yes, I buy into that big time because Herron's been known for his fastball and his splitter. Now his fastball's not as hard, but his split finger still has some downward tilt to it.
And what I noticed, by the way, I know you saw this, he doesn't throw a split much anymore.
Right, he kind of got away from that and says, well, I'll just try to go to a slider because he doesn't have the same arm speed.
This ball's pretty well struck, but it's right at Asuna. So Brandon Barnes is retired, 1 out. Now to bring up De La Rosa, try to sacrifice, I'm sure, Nick Hundley to second. Who wants tacos? When the Rockies score 7 or more, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. La Masa Taco Bell. Colorado enjoying their first lead since Tuesday. This is a spot with a soft tosser especially where Walt likes the slug bunt.
You couldn't even get it out of your mouth in time. Great call. Easy call because of what you just said. And the guy that's not a hard thrower, you don't feel bad that he's going to swing through a pitch or be overpowered. You lay one down.
It was bunted pretty hard, and Solano's going to get one, and that's all as the throw from D. Gordon was actually that's Echeverria, I should say, was a little bit low, and Bate couldn't dig it out of the dirt. So 2 outs, and De La Rosa at first.
Ball was bunted too hard. Solano's coming in on the one hop. He makes the throw to Echeverria, and then the low throw to Baker at first. But Jorge seemed to be gingerly running down the line with the leg. Remember last start, the trainers had to come out and check on that groin again.
I think that's one of those injuries, unfortunately for Jorge, is going to linger, and he's going to have to monitor throughout the season.
Well, I think much like Corey Dickerson, he's going to have to monitor that foot.
Charlie had a leadoff home run, Jeff, and it was the 8th time in his career he's hit a leadoff home run, which ties Eric Young, Sr., for most in club history as a curveball.
And Heron wanted the ball away and made the mistake, and Charlie says, thanks, I'll make you pay for it.
Charlie hits this one pretty well, but it's like the Grand Canyon out there, and Osuna makes the catch. So the Rockies will leave a man on, middle of 2. They're up 3-0.
Trout, I'm in club. Nothing lead. Jorge De La Rosa, before coming to the Rockies in a deal in 2008, was 15-23 in the big leagues. He's 72-47 since. And Walt Weiss talks a little bit about his journey.
Always had a great arm. You know, command was the issue with him when he as a young pitcher. You know, Georgie's gotten better dealing with his emotions on the mound. He's still an emotional guy, but he's got that more under control, and I think that's helped a lot. But just he's got a real good arm, you know, real good stuff. Still throwing hard, you know, low to mid 90s. So he's been a good pitcher for a long time now.
And Drew and Jeff, as you know, the Diamondbacks had signed him originally. Then he went back to Monterrey, Mexico. Then he was traded to Boston. He was involved in a Kurt Schilling deal. He's going back to Arizona, and then he was traded to Milwaukee to Richie Sexton deal, Tony Graffinino deal to Kansas City. He was here, there, and everywhere, but he has found a home with the Rockies.
He finally harnessed the emotions and the command issues that troubled him early, because nobody ever questioned the arm. I mean, he's always been a guy who's throwing in the mid-90s. Now coming off Tommy John surgery, he's flashed a bunch of 95s this year. That pitch just off the outside corner. It's 2-0 on Jeff Baker, former teammate of De La Rosa's.
I just think there's a fine line between being emotional and too emotional, where it affects your performance. And I think Jorge at times still walks that line.
But you
it's
have
easier.
to be who you are.
No, exactly. You have to be who you are, but it's also easier to try to harness it than try to kick somebody in the backside and to get him to go.
You've heard that so much in coaching. That's a good pitch. Slider for a strike. You'd rather have to pull somebody back a little bit as opposed to always feeling like you have to kick them in the tail to get
Come on,
them
let's
going.
Let's go. They're like, okay.
He cares a lot. I thought the thing that I took away from Walt's bite during Mark's piece was he's a competitor. And we've seen him. I mean, we've watched him make the majority of his starts in baseball with the Rockies. That ball was ripped down the left field line, a leadoff double for Baker. I'll tell you this, Jeff Baker against lefties, the way he hits lefties, he's going to stay in this league for a long time. He already has. And it's still a violent bat, man. It makes a different sound when Baker hits it.
Oh, lefty third double this season. All of his home runs have come against a left-handed pitcher. So to even further your point, there's never been a question about Bake and his bat speed coming through the zone. It's still on display.
Yep. JT Realmuto, a young catcher that moved quickly through the Marlins system. They like him a lot. Fastball's in. He showed his pop the other night, and he showed his speed off. He's hit 4 triples this year, a couple against the Rockies, and he had a long 3-run home run to break open a game 2 days ago. This is popped up. DJ is going to move back and make the catch, 1 out. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation each and every day. Just send us your thoughts or photos. Utilize Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, and include the hashtag ToyotaTalk. 1 out. Danny Echeverria will come up. Another one of the building blocks for the Marlins here in Miami. Obviously, the centerpiece is their right fielder.
Oh, with he and D. Gordon up the middle, that's just a pretty formidable combo.
Really nice
both
combo.
Offensively and defensively.
Yep, two-way guys. Well, when you look at the keystone combinations and guys that are doing really well offensively and defensively, talk about the National League. You know, Tulowitzki and LeMahieu don't have to take a backseat to anybody. I'll give you one that's had somewhat of a surprisingly great year both ways. This is to the right side. Paulson will make the play, 2 outs. And that is in San Francisco with Brandon Crawford and Joe Panik. Both are hitting over 300. Brandon Crawford is a great defensive shortstop, and he's brought the offense this year. And Joe Panik in his sophomore season has been outstanding. But LeMahieu and Tulowitzki, as you mentioned, pretty darn good.
Right. Panik just had his 16-game hitting streak broken, and then Brandon Crawford leads the National League shortstops in RBIs. So it's a tough league, but an even tougher division when you have 2 of the best going and playing each other 18, 19 times a year.
Yeah. But those are the 3 that jump to mind in terms of prolific offense and outstanding defense. You want to build the team up the middle, right?
Okay. Kind of think back, it's a good block from Nick Hundley, but you kind of think back to the Detroit Tigers with Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell for 20 plus years.
Sure.
Those guys together.
Two O's in there on Herron, 2-1. Talked about it earlier. You can't just throw a cookie to Herron. He's hit over 200 in his career. His major league debut, first pitch he saw, he ripped for a double. I think even the guys that were good hitters, you know, in college that were pitchers, they tend to, over a period of time, most of them tend to lose the real sharpness that they once had. They just don't work on it enough to hit consistently at this level. Remember Jason Jennings? When Jennings came up, he was a terror offensively, and over a period of time, still a bat you wanted to be careful with, but not as dangerous as when he first came up.
You're not taking batting practice every single day with the intensity that you might if you were down in the minor leagues or in college ball.
Nice job by Jorge. And a good inning after a leadoff double. Baker could get to third, no further. So De La Rosa appears to be on his game, and the Rockies have a 3-0 lead as we go to the third. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Focus. Big MPGs and fun to drive. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Beautiful scenery wherever you look in Miami. Out to the far right, that would be Miami Beach. Got to take the causeway across. Third inning of work for Dan Herron. Rockies touched him for 3 in the first. DJ LeMahieu, Troy Tulowitzki, and Carlos Gonzalez will get their second opportunity against Herron. 7-9 career-wise with a 5.12 ERA against the Rockies. Jeff mentioned earlier today his 20th career start against Colorado. Slider at the knees for a strike.
Sometimes first pitch strikes are misleading, and I think it is in this case because that's now 8 of 11 for Dan Herron.
And that's in the same spot for a strike. And I know why you say that, because Jorge, who has good stuff, is just 2 for 9.
Right, but Jorge's been able to pitch around some of the traffic that he's created. Dan hasn't.
Another slider, and it's 2-2.
DJ putting the stall move on Herron. He was ready to go. DJ wasn't.
This is on the ground short. And Echeverria. But it looked like Jeff Baker lost that in the glare coming off the windows. See that?
The glare something, because this was an awkward catch at first base. I mean, when an infielder throws the ball this far and you get that reaction from a first baseman, he did not see it. I might have cut on the last moment. I don't know.
Tula walked and came home on the Arenado 2-run home run in the first. Troy hitting .381 against the Marlins this year.
Well, he's just glad he's not playing at Sun Life Stadium anymore.
Yeah, Sun Life Stadium did not
treat
Troy well.
Didn't they have 4 or 5 names in every year?
Every year there was a new name.
I remember it as Joe Robbie Stadium.
Oh, it'll always be Land Shark Stadium for me.
It was just 1 year of Land Shark. Just thinking
like
of the beverage.
Thought it was from the Jimmy Buffett tour that year. 2-1. That's at the knees. 2-2.
So Sun Life, Joe Robbie, Land Shark, Pro Player Stadium.
Well, Dolphin Stadium.
Dolphin Stadium, that's 5 that I can recall.
What are they calling it now? Is it just Dolphin Stadium? And Herron, with his first strikeout, he gets Tulowitzki. All right, Joe Robbie.
Joe Robbie.
Pro player.
I got that one.
Yep. Dolphin Stadium. This is fun.
Land
Shark. They had to repaint the whole entrance sign.
Oh, Sun Life is the one we missed. There's 5.
Is there another one? The video ends. So what is it now? It's Sun Life?
I don't know. I will always call it Joe Robbie.
I will always ridicule the fact that they've had so many names. 0-1 on Cargo. It's one of those guys, again, you can say stay back, stay back, stay back. Easier said than done. Cargo out front a little bit there.
His fastball acts like a changeup because of the lack of velocity.
And then really he's throwing his slider virtually the same speed. More of a cutter. I mean, his fastball averages 84, 85, and his slider averages 83.
And his split is 81. So go figure. You know you're going to get something within that 85 to 80 mile an hour range.
Cargo hits this ball in the air to deep left center field, and it is caught out there by Yelich. Called off as soon or late. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Herron. Rockies up 3-0. Jorge De La Rosa and his timeline with the Rockies. Traded for Ramon Ramirez. Went on to have a nice career as a setup guy. And then in 2010, he signed a 2-year extension with the Rockies. He's had 2 16-win seasons, among those 4 double-digit victory years, and 47 career wins, which is always most notably mentioned when you're discussing Jorge De La Rosa of the Rockies. And he's got a 3-0 lead. Top of the order in the 3rd inning for Miami. Here's D. Gordon. He slapped the curveball. It was a good pitch, and he slapped it down the left field line for a single. D thought he was going to have a double on it, but Brandon Barnes fielded it and quickly fired in and held Gordon to a single. Set up away, and the fastball, more of a cutter actually, or slider. How about going through 3 pitches?
One of those 3.
It was swung on and missed. How about that?
I'll go with it. Might have been a split that he got off to the side.
You can't tell between his splitter sometimes and his slider. Fastball. See you later, says Field Colbreth.
That fastball was set up because the split finger, the one that we couldn't tell what it was. And they go back out. He thought it was going to cut away from the edge of the plate.
Second strikeout for De La Rosa. Donovan Solano for the first time. Martin Prado started. He reached on a throwing error by Arenado and then tumbled first over the foot of Paulson and then the bag, and he came down really hard on the right shoulder. They looked at him for about 4 or 5 minutes out on the field. Prado, who's a tough guy, could not continue. So Solano's in there at third base. Here's the 0-1 on Solano, and it's 0-2.
It's always a scary thing for a player when you're going over the bag. You don't have a chance to brace yourself, and then you just fall right on your throwing shoulder. You can deal with it if it's your glove hand or your glove shoulder, but not your throwing shoulder.
0-2 on Solano. Does a good job fouling that pitch off. That was nasty. Donovan's brother Jonathan with the Miami Marlins organization as well. He was up earlier.
He was with Washington earlier in his career.
Yes. There's a splitter. And Nick tried to sell it that he picked that, but Field Cobra said no, it hit the dirt.
How about that? To be able to see that, recognize that it hit. It was helped by all the dirt flying. And still feeling Colbreth right on the call.
That's a fair ball, and Nolan couldn't come up with it. And that's, you know, not an easy play, but we're so used to him doing everything defensively. It's an oddity when he's unable to make this play. See how they score that.
This kicked off the heel of his glove, the outside portion. And another error for Nolan.
You might not see that again in calendar year 2015. 2 errors in the game on Arenado.
And both have come against the second place hitter for the Marlins. First one Prado, now Solano.
That makes this at bat huge from De La Rosa's standpoint, because Stanton is on deck. He walked Yelich last time after the error by Arenado, and Stanton came up with 2 men on, and he hit a line shot, but it was right at Charlie Blackmon. You don't want to give him the way he's swinging it multiple opportunities with traffic. Center field, Blackmon is right there, 2 outs.
All fans through the gates on Friday, June 19th, will receive a 2015 Rockies team poster as well as a Topps mini pack of baseball cards courtesy of Topps. So you get the poster and baseball cards. Were you a baseball card collector growing up, Drew?
Yeah, early on I was, absolutely.
So was I.
In fact, my dad brought a ton over to the house about a year ago. Stanton leans on this one, but he got under it just enough that it'll be an easy play in center field for Blackmon. So the error does not hurt, and as we go to the fourth, the Rockies enjoying a 3-0 advantage.
Marlins heading out to left field. Nolan Arenado about to lead off for the Rocks. They are buds. They go way back to travel teams. And you may remember Yelich stealing a ball at the wall from Nolan on Friday night while I asked Christian about Nolan's defense at third.
I've seen him do that for a long, long time. So when he came up and started doing it in the big leagues, I wasn't surprised and knew he was capable of it. And now the whole world knows what he can do.
Even though Nolan has 2 errors, which, as you said, Drew, may not happen again, unlikely. These two guys know how each other play. They each have a Gold Glove, and hopefully Nolan gets another one this year.
Yeah, Yelich last year led all outfielders in assists and won the first Gold Glove for an outfielder in Marlins history. Nolan takes a curveball from Dan Herron. That missed. It's ball 1. You have 2 really talented young players. Good eye from Arenado. Nolan had a lengthy at bat in the first, finally got something he could handle, and he drove it over the left center field wall for his 16th home run. He's got 49 ribbies now. Blackmon also hit a home run in that first frame. No swing. It's 3-0. Here's the home run in the first.
And a no-doubter from Nolan. Although there might have been some in the back of his mind after 2 balls that he's hit here that he thought were out.
If you're not named Stanton, there aren't many guys who can roll up to the plate and say that's a no-doubter. Cargo when he runs into one, Tulowitzki when he runs into one, but for most, there's no such thing in Marlins Park as a no-doubter. Mike McHenry was quoted after the ball game yesterday, and Mike can hit. Mike is swung the bat pretty well yesterday in his start. He said it's a miserable place to hit. It's tough. Ball 4, leadoff walk for Arenado. That's the second walk allowed, and Herron's also hit a batter, Nick Hundley. That's unlike Dan Herron so far this year, and that's one thing you really want to take advantage of if his command's a little bit off.
16 walks now for Herron to go along with the hit by pitch today. And 67 pitches. Now nobody out in the top of the 4th.
Well, with the injury to Justin Morneau, Ben Paulson's getting a lot of opportunity, and he's made the most of it. .311 average, 5 home runs, 11 ribbies coming in. Walt Weiss was asked about Justin's progress, status with the concussion symptoms and the neck injury, and Walt said it's more neck now than anything, but Justin's been out for a month. Just wish him well with all that he's dealt with in those two areas in particular.
Yeah, it's hard to see somebody just have to kind of stay away from the game in a game that they love. But it is an opportunity for Ben, and he's making the most of it, hitting .307. And a huge home run the other night. It's Michael Walker.
Fouls off another 0-2 delivery.
I'll take that back. That was Carlos Martinez's game that he hit the home run. Nolan had hit the home run against Walker.
Either guy, you're taking either one of those guys deep, you're doing a lot of things right. One and two. Arenado at first. Dougie just handed me a note. Nolan's got 16 home runs now, 227 at bats. Huey, last year he had 18 home runs and 432 at bats, 205 more at bats, 2 more home runs. That's a maturity in two ways. It's a maturity in being able to identify pitches, I'm sure, getting more comfortable offensively, and it's also a strength maturation.
Well, and also how many he's hit on the road compared to what he's done at home.
Yeah, last year only 2 of the 18 came out on the road. This year the majority have been out on the road, 11. That's strike 3. And Paulson did not like that call from Field and Colbreth. And I understand why when you glance at the fourth strike zone. That wasn't close.
No, that's a big missed call. You can buy it for a hitter if it is a half a baseball out, but not when it's a ball and a half away. As you know, and Ben knows.
Nick Hundley, he got hit by the first pitch he saw from Herring. And he hits this straight away. With 2 outs, Brandon Barnes will take his turn with every challenge call. The Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Barnes hit the ball hard his first time, a line shot, but it was right at Asuna in center field. And this is in the air to right field. Stanton running near the line. Makes the catch, and that ends the inning. So in the middle of the 4th inning, the Rockies continuing to lead 3-0 behind Jorge De La Rosa. June 23rd, 2009, Aaron Cook records his 59th win as a Rocky, and he passed Jason Jennings in the process for most wins in Rockies history. It's also the 30th road win, which broke Pedro Estacios' road record for victories. Well, today, Jorge De La Rosa, with a victory, would pass Aaron Cook. They're tied with 72 victories each in Rockies history. Look at that winning percentage, though. 72 and 47 for De La Rosa.
47 of the 72 at Coors Field.
Ubaldo on that list. He just beat the Yankees the other day. Pitch inside on Osuna. He struck out his first time. Quite a sequence from De La Rosa. There's a cutter, a splitter, and a fastball, or a curveball, and that was all for Osuna. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marcel, a native of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. Last year he hit .269 with 23 home runs and 85 RBIs.
Kind of a breakout year for him.
Yeah. Home runs are a little bit down. The batting average is up, though, this year. Good changeup. 1 and 2. Maybe that show me fastball to set up a splitter again.
Split.
And that was the pitch. That splitter's been a great pitch for De La Rosa last couple of years, and in particular the last couple of starts. It's been a chase pitch for De La Rosa, and one he's had a lot of success of late. And there it is again. He gets a chase, a swing and a miss. We talk about chase. That's ball out of strike zone.
His chase percentage is over 50%, and he gets Osuna to chase out of the zone. Back in April, when he's coming out of spring training, still dealing with some groin issue, is got that .462 batting average against on that splitter because he was leaving it up. May was starting to get better. Now you look fast forward here into June, 130s chase percentage of 51.1%. I mean, that's a huge number when you're hoping to be somewhere around 30% on the chase.
Baker lined a double down the left field line, leading off the second inning. He was stranded there. Here's the 0-1 with 1 out. Come inside again with a fastball.
And just a reminder for folks that the chase percentage is chasing a pitch outside the strike zone. Now, with percentages within the strike zone.
2 balls and a strike. Baker now 6 for 15 in his career matchups with Jorge. Two and two on Baker, the former Clemson star. Jeff will be a free agent at the end of the year. Good pitch. In, away with a fastball. You get a foul tip and a strikeout in the 4th for De La Rosa.
If you have to honor in, it causes you to be late on the ball away because your hips and your shoulder have already committed to trying to pull the ball, and then when it's away, you just hope you can foul it off. But most of the time you can't do it.
2 outs, nobody on for JT Realmuto out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Popped to second in his first at bat, hitting .375 over his last 11.
They paired Realmuto up with Dan Herron today instead of putting Mathis, because Herron calls the majority of his pitches. So you put the youngster behind the plate, just kind of help his progress.
It's fouled off. Both Jared Cosart and Jose Fernandez will be thrown in AAA in their next starts, rehabbing for Miami. Showed you Fernandez, some of his outing the other day with Jupiter. We're going to get some pitching back. Brett Butler talking to Jose.
New Orleans is their AAA affiliate. You're thinking Cosart. He had the same issue that Rafael Betancourt did, where they had the inner ear infection that caused some vertigo.
Curveball. Raffy's with the club, and we were visiting with him yesterday. He's feeling much better. He is on the disabled list, but Raffy went through stretch routine prior to batting practice with the whole club yesterday. And if you have vertigo, you're not going to be bouncing around unless it's clearing up. So that was a good sign for Betancourt. 2-2 with 2 outs. And Realmuto hits it high in the air to left center field. Barnes will make the catch. And another strong inning from Jorge De La Rosa, shutting out the Marlins 3-0 as we go to the 5th. First hitter of the ball game, Charlie Blackmon, hit a home run, his 8th career leadoff home run. And then shortly thereafter, Nolan Arenado would go deep with a 2-run shot. And De La Rosa has been just fine, allowing just 2 hits over 4 innings, a walk and 4 strikeouts. It is 3-0 Colorado. De La will lead things off here in the 5th inning. With Jeff Houston and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Rockies trying to snap a 4-game losing streak and make it a happy flight over to Houston across the Gulf. De La Rosa tried to get a bunt down his first time up. He did, but he bunted it too hard, and it turned into a 5-6 force out. Nick Hundley had started that inning out with a hit by pitch. strike 3 on De La Rosa. 3 strikeouts for Herron.
De La says, I want that one when I pitch, too. Coca-Cola value packs are the best deal in town. Available every value game, including June 17th and 18th against the Houston Astros for either $59 or $79, depending on seat location. Astros are at home today playing Seattle. Rockies will get Dallas Keuchel tomorrow.
Dallas Keuchel's been a great story, not only this year, but starting last year with Houston. He's become the #1 guy for the Astros, a legitimate #1 guy. Charlie Blackmon, a home run and a fly ball to fairly deep center field. Sliders down low. 2 balls, no strikes on Blackmon.
Nice play, TR. Still have those soft hands that made you famous up in Greeley. And also the big leagues.
He's a legend in Greeley. 2-2. So Charlie's got 8 leadoff home runs in his career, tied with EY for the most in franchise history. He has 73 to go to tie Ricky Henderson.
That's it?
81 leadoff home runs in the Hall of Famer's career. Best leadoff guy in history. Strike 3, and Blackmon knew it, no argument. The Rockies got to recalibrate against Herring because now he's settled in a little bit since that first frame.
He struck out 4 in the last 2 2/3.
Keeps you off balance enough, and the count typically is always in his favor. DJ hit it hard to right, a line shot at Stanton, and then a ground ball deep in the hole that Echeverria made a nice play on. 0 for 2, riding an 8-game hitting streak. And that pitch misses, ball 1.
It's almost been a consistent theme for DJ when he's hitting like he is to be ahead in the count. Every time he goes to the plate. Taking more pitches this year than he did last year, seeing more pitches per plate appearance.
Two and 2. Yeah, the pitches per plate appearance up a little bit this year from last year for LeMahieu. And Dan Herron strikes out the side in the 5th. Rockies leading 3-0. 3 runs on 2 hits, both home runs. Orange Bowl, the Rockies leading 3-0. Trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Dan Herron has settled in. Jorge De La Rosa has pitched like he did his last 4 outings upstairs with Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. And all of a sudden, those 3 runs in the first inning loom really large.
They do, and for Jorge, sometimes you have to pick up your teammates just like the position players will pick up a pitcher. You have 2 errors, put some extra guys out there, but for Jorge, he's found a way to limit those guys, get those guys out of the way, and he's going out there and he's showing today why you've counted on him so many times in his career, because they needed this game. They need this game today. They needed him to go out there and kind of put his foot down.
I have a question for you. What do you think Doug's doing over here?
He's doing some research.
He's
research.
Yeah, I think he's looking busy.
Yes, he is.
He's looking busy.
He does help us out quite a bit, so can't give him too much of a hard time.
Danny Echeverria takes again, and it's 3-0 with Dan Herron on deck. Yeah, De La Rosa sometimes deals with a high pitch count, as all Rockies fans would know, and the pitch count is fine. He's averaged about 15, and then it's their leadoff walk. But he's been hurt by a couple of Arenado errors where he's had to throw extra pitches. So Jorge's really done a pretty good job, though he's missed the strike zone on 4 straight to begin this inning, and that'll bring up Herron.
And that hurts because now they could put Herron up there to sacrifice. And I don't think they would have pinch hit for him in the 5th. But you don't know Dan Jennings' managerial style because he's just 28, 30 games into this.
And that's 5 straight out of the zone.
25 games into his managerial career. They're 11-14 under Dan since they fired Mike Redmond.
One ball, 1 strike.
Miami's second in the major leagues with most 25 sacrifice bunts or sacrifice hits. Pirates are first with 27.
One and 2 as that bunt goes foul. Got the bunt down. De La Rosa has 1 play, and that's the first. He flips to DJ, and there's 1 out on the sac bunt by Herron. So Echeverria at second, and that'll bring up D. Gordon, 1 for 2. Gordon caught looking his last time up, slapped a single left in the first inning. D. Gordon, one of 6 children of Tom Flash Gordon. Remains very, very close with his dad. Unfortunately, D lost his mom in a tragic shooting when he was 6 years old.
Well, that base hit for D in the first inning, that gives him 91 hits, which is leading the National League. But closing in on the club record of hits before the All-Star break, Juan Pierre and Hanley Ramirez both had 117 hits prior to the All-Star break.
That's a bunch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gordon was more of a basketball player growing up until very late in high school. As he says, he kind of took to the family business.
Reminds me of Delino DeShields. Now, Delino's younger son, Delino Jr., is playing for the Rangers, but Delino was the #1 pick of the Expos in '87. the same way. He was going to go to Villanova on a basketball scholarship. And then signed and became a second baseman, leadoff hitter, batting left-handed.
And this is popped up left field line. Barnes flying, getting there in foul ground. What a catch by Brandon Barnes. 2 outs.
We've seen him do 2 things today against D. Gordon. The first one, he kept him at first base because of his hustle getting around the ball, getting the throw in. Now laying out as only you expect from Brandon. No disregard the body, what's going to happen, how he's going to land, the face going into the dirt. And he comes up. Yeah, you should give him the tap of the glove. Marvelous, marvelous effort from Brandon.
That's all you get. You're going to get the absolute best he has to offer every time he takes the field.
And it's not going to be a soft landing because it's going to be part grass, part dirt. And the dirt is what hurts. As you're skidding to try to stop, you get scratches on your elbows, on your hands, on your hips.
In the air to right field, fairly deep. Cargo retreating. He's got it. And that's all as Donovan Solano lines out to end the inning. Great catch by Brandon Barnes. And we'll go to the 6th inning. The shutout intact. 3-0 Colorado. Sports is brought to you by the Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games and get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Well, the Rockies trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, win one here in Miami, and then head to Houston. Keith Duggar doing a little medical work on Brandon Barnes, and this ball is lined by Tulowitzki to deep left field, and it is grabbed out there by Yelich in that left field corner. Troy gave it a ride.
Yelich was sticking his hand up at the end trying to see where the wall was, if he's going to have to brace himself.
One pitch and Troy's retired. 7 in a row set down by Dan Herron. Cargo a pop out and a fly ball to very deep left center field. Another good running catch by Yelich. Shift is on. There's a strike, and now Solano's got to run across, get the shift from the shortstop Echeverria. And the reason they do that, if you're wondering, if you missed our explanation, is they'll keep the third baseman on the left side to guard against a bunt until there's one strike. And then they'll put the third baseman on the right side and have Echeverria, who's got the best range, go to his natural spot, the shortstop spot. Here's the 1-1. And that ball is golfed a mile to right over the head of Stanton, and it ricochets off the wall. And center field help from Ozuna. And it holds Cargo to a double. Boy, oh boy, was that thing hit hard.
Like a 2 or 3 iron off the tee box. It started low and then just carried. You know it's tough for an outfielder when they are playing deep and they have to go back on their first step and they still don't reach it. That tells you how fast and how hard that ball was hit.
Great example there. Ozuna not watching, saying, that's all yours, Giancarlo. There's always somewhere to go on a baseball field, and if he's not backing up, that's going to be a triple.
There's always some place to be on a field. Don't buy a ticket and become a spectator.
Cargo with the second hit of the series. Nolan up there. Chance for the Rockies to add a 4th run. That's a pretty large hit, by the way, for Carlos Gonzalez. Dougie was doing some research, evidently. He just wrote down that Cargo with that hit has 806 hits with the Rockies. He just passed Garrett Atkins. We saw Addy at fantasy camp this past winter. Addy had a terrific career with the Rockies. So Cargo moves ahead of Atkins. Next up is the big cat.
Who we just saw yesterday.
It's all in the family.
Matt Holliday.
We just saw Matt.
We see Troy every day.
We see Benny all the time. We just saw Bichette. Walk. They're all around.
Well, congratulations to Cargo.
Two balls and a strike on Nolan. A 2-run home run and a walk. That'd be a great time. 3-1 count to produce that 50th RBI.
Ellis we just saw.
We see Ellis all the time. Special assistant with the Rockies. I think that's something, and it started with Dan O'Dowd. Here's the 3-1. That's a pop-up. 2 outs. Bringing back, and not just in a,
obligatory, say,
a feel-good role, if you will, but legitimate roles with the club, bringing back some of the great players who've played for the Rockies in the past. Ellis Burke's around. Pedro Estasio's working the bullpen this week with Darren Holmes at his son's graduation. Eric Young Jr.'s on the staff. Eric Young Sr. I always say Eric Young Jr. I'm trying to make EY younger. Ben Paulson takes ball 1. Keeping the guys, you have some tradition now. It's 20+ years. Keeping some of the impactful players around so they can have an impact on some of these young guys.
I just think of the knowledge that they bring and that they can give to these younger players.
This ball lined toward the gap in left center field's got to get down. It will not before Yelich catches up with it. Good outfielder. Paulson hit it well. Cargo left at second after doubling. Middle of 6. It's 3-0 Rockies.
their first base coach, and he's coming around home plate, heading down my way. He'll be standing right here. Jeff Houston always talks about Perry Hill being a great infield coach. So I asked Coach Hill about Jeff Houston.
No, Huey is great. He's a consummate team player, and he always has been. Team always came first, and he made the routine plays every time, and he made the spectacular plays. You know, he played behind Nolan in a no-hitter, and I mean, he's done a lot of things in his career, and I'm very proud that I was his coach at one time.
Huey, that's when you were at the Rangers, and every time I look up Perry Hill, who's right here by me, I read about Ultimate Infield DVD, the best infield coach. You even mentioned that Ichiro said that he should come over to Japan and put on some clinics.
Yeah, he wants to.
Why is that? Yeah.
Just because he can break down infield, and probably more specific, the footwork and the way the hands work with the arm to make it seem simple to a youngster.
You know, you were talking about Coach Hill and Ichiro, too, and I did interview him about Ichiro, and he said that he's the glue for this team. That's what he called Ichiro, and you mentioned that's what he said to you as well.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to watch that on your pregame show today and how they were talking about Ichiro. But, yeah, he wants to take Perry over to first or to Japan and have him put on clinics.
Giancarlo Stanton at the plate. Stanton has twice hit the ball in the air to Charlie in center. Looking at Lenny Harris at third base. Lenny's a smart man. He's moved it to short left field. Third base coach.
Don't worry about
the Marlins.
That Bob, the third base coach. Don't stand in that. Back up.
Here's a strike, 1-1. And Lenny's basically off screen.
And for Stanton, this is the first time in this game that he's come up without somebody on base. Now, Walt was asked before the game, and you talked about it earlier in the broadcast, you know, how are you going to pitch Stanton any different? He said it's tough, too, when you have guys in front of him that are getting on.
3-1. De La Rosa had to go after him with two guys on in the first, with a man on in the third. He's actually probably more aggressive in those situations than he's been here. Here's the 3-1. And he loses Stanton. So Stanton walks with one out in the sixth inning. Third walk allowed by De La Rosa. And that'll bring up Osuna, who struck out twice against De La Rosa. De La with 4 strikeouts in the game. He's allowed just 2 hits. A single by D. Gordon, first hitter he faced. And then a leadoff double by Jeff Baker in the second. That's it. Home run leaders 25 or younger. Stanton 177, then Trout with 116. Freddie Freeman next to the Braves. A ball on Osuna. Rolando Fernandez was around the club the last couple of days, director of international scouting for the Rockies. It's always interesting visiting with Rolando. You talk about a busy schedule. I mean, he's in Venezuela. He's obviously based in the Dominican and Florida, splitting time. He's in Puerto Rico. He's all over looking at amateur talent, especially in the Dominican and in Venezuela. And that July 2nd, that signing period opens up again, and the Rockies, along with all other clubs, will hear names signed, and then hopefully, 4, 6, 7 years down the road. It's actually, rather than 4, it's probably more like 6, because a lot of those kids are 16. Hopefully some of those names arrive in Denver and have an impact on the Rockies roster. And he's excited about some of the guys that potentially the Rockies will be signing.
Well, because of the way you sign them and draft them like you do here in the States, it's signing. So you have to get a relationship built with some of these kids, and more importantly, their families.
Shattered bat, foul ball. Just foul. Well, that relationship, so often in the States talk about recruiting in all sports, but focused on football, basketball, because of what we do, baseball. We know a lot about college recruiting. Well, that's one of the reasons that Rolando's been so successful. He has a wonderfully genuine personality. You can see where there's a trust built between the Buscones and the family. Buscones, the agents, literally, for these kids, and that can be the difference when a kid has an opportunity maybe to sign with another team.
Somebody that might be offering him more money.
Yep.
And so they said, no, I like the relationship I have with Rolando. I will take that, and I like the complex they have down there.
Well, the Rockies have state of the art. There's one, and
very nice.
There's two. So De La Rosa gets the 6-4-3 from Ozuna. And we'll turn the page to inning number 7. Jorge doing his thing, and the Rockies are up 3-0 in South Florida. An 8th career leadoff home run that got the Rockies up 1-0, and then a few minutes later, Nolan Arenado hit a 2-run shot, his 11th road home run of the year. And Jorge De La Rosa, 6 innings of shutout baseball so far. He has limited the Marlins to just 2 hits. A single by Gordon, a double by Jeff Baker. That's our Comcast game summary. With Jeff Houston and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Nick Hundley in the 7th inning will lead it off. And there's been a pitching change for the Marlins. Vin Mazzaro will make his 7th appearance. Rocky saw Mazzaro in Denver.
Yeah, and he's not as hard thrower as most of the guys that they have coming out of this bin. They'll be 93. He'll also throw a slider and a changeup. But against Colorado, is an inning plus a couple of hitters, 4 hits, 1 run. That was back on June 5th. Dan Herron had to exit because the pitch count at 102 pitches.
Well, Herron kind of did his thing. He kept the Rockies off balance after they got 3 in the first. Changing speeds, working backwards, living on the edge.
Threw 35, 37 pitches in the first inning.
And the walk to Nick, so he's been on twice today. Leadoff base runner in the 7th. Brandon Barnes coming up.
Sarah, why is Ronald's a legend in Greeley? Well, because he grew up there. He also went to the University of Northern Colorado, played for them from 1974 through 77. And probably best remembered 1974 when that UNC baseball team went to the College World Series. They knocked off some big teams when they were playing just to get there. Gonzaga, the U of A. They ended up falling to Oklahoma in the first round of the College World Series, but then beat Harvard and then eliminated by Southern Illinois. So that's why TR is so widely respected.
He had
not only in the game, but at Greeley.
He was a great high school athlete in that area. He had a terrific career at UNC, and then obviously an accomplished enough professional to get to the big leagues. Briefly managed with the Expos, so anybody in the baseball world, especially up there in northern Colorado, when you mention baseball, and it's a great baseball town, Tommy Ronald's one of the first names that people mention. Runner going, hit and run is on, and Barnes fouls it off, so Hundley will come back. Going out for my morning run this morning early, and guess who was already getting a cab to come down to the stadium?
Nick Hundley.
You bet. Sometimes players will go in a little bit later, understandably so, on Sunday after a long week. Hundley's routine doesn't change.
Nor should it. If that's what he feels like he needs to do to prepare, that's what he's going to do.
That's a base hit through the right side. Hundley will cut the bag. He'll end up at third. A base hit by Barnes, and the Rockies have runners on the corners with nobody out.
Brandon kept trying to shoot that ball to right field. We saw the hit and run. He fouled it off. But they tried to come inside with the fastball, and he pulled the hands in. That allows the barrel to drag behind, and it can shoot that ball to right field. Just watch where that pitch is, and he just keeps those hands inside the ball, and now you end up with the first and third, an opportunity for Jorge to get a bunt down.
Yeah, and if you're saying, well, why wouldn't Walt go to the bench here? De La Rosa's dealing, and he's throwing 88 pitches. So with a 3-run lead already, you want De La Rosa in the ball game, as opposed to saying, well, let me put up a bat and try to extend the lead. And De La's going to bunt 3 times here because you want to stay out of a double play.
And if you can get him through the 7th, and you only have 2 innings to eat up. John Axford's one of those innings, so now you're just looking for 3 outs.
You got 6, 7, and 8 coming up for the Marlins. Pulls the bat back. It missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jorge out of Monterrey, Mexico.
Jorge is just looking at the umpire fielding cold breath. They said, I'm sorry, because with the pitch, you got to keep 1 foot in the box. But he had stepped out. Oh, see? He almost lost his toe hold.
He's the first guy. He's the first guy, honestly. It's June 5th, 14th. He's the first guy, honestly, that I've seen do that where he's like, oops, I feel terrible. I got to stay here. Runner goes, and it's fouled off. So Barnes will come back.
Now he can get out of the box.
Yeah, if you foul a ball off,
you get out.
You take a walk. Maybe Fielding even told him, hey, you can take a walk right
now.
You're good.
You're okay.
Zero misses there. It's 3-2. Blackman's on deck. Rockies up 3-0, top of 7. Even with the 3 runs today, the Rockies have scored just 5 runs in this 4-game set. Fewest runs ever given up in a 4-game set by the Marlins, 7. Barnes goes, and it's chopped to third. Solano will throw out De La Rosa. And the Rockies have 2 in scoring position now for Blackman, so the infield will have to stay in.
Well, the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Sunday, June 21st, will receive a Father's Day baseball cap sponsored by Coca-Cola. That's all you were hoping from De La Rosa, is at the end of your at bat, make sure that Barnes is at second base to have 2 guys in scoring position for Charlie. And that's what he did.
Charlie, a home run, a fly ball to deep center, and he was caught looking. They're going to load up the bases and pitch to one of the leading hitters in baseball, DJ LeMahieu.
Now I see Steve Cishek out in the bullpen for the Marlins. More of a sidearm thrower. So I bet you that Dan Jennings is going to have Vin walk Charlie, bring in Cishek to face DJ.
Trying to get that
Try to get the
ball.
double play.
And here comes Jennings. So LeMahieu will face Cishek, who just returned from Double-A. He was sent out. He's been their closer and a good one the last couple of years, but it's been a rough go this year for Cishek. We'll talk more about Steve Cishek when we come back. Rockies have the bases loaded up 3-0, 1 out in the 7th. When you go to the website papajohns.com. So here's the deal. The Rockies are up 3-0. All 3 runs came in the first frame. In the 7th, they have DJ LeMahieu waiting to face Steve Cishek. The bases are full of Rockies. Hundley, Barnes, and Blackman. Hundley walked, Barnes single, Blackman intentionally passed. And LeMahieu, one of the leading hitters in baseball, at 347 coming in. Cishek just returning from 5 ball games at Double-A Jacksonville. This is one of the best closers in the league the last couple of years. And he was sent out because he was giving up an inordinate amount of hits, and he also had walked 10 in less than 20 innings.
And failed to convert 4 save opportunities, where last year he just blew 4 of 43. But DJ, with the bases loaded this year, 2 for 3, and in his career he's a .333 hitter.
He's thinking, get a ball that's up. Cishek is not only a sidewinder, but because he has pretty good velocity, it makes it tough. You think of like Sergio Romo. Romo doesn't throw real hard by major league standards.
No, and some of the other guys that you would drop down, the Quisenberries, those guys weren't as hard of throwers as Cishek is.
DJ, in addition to having established himself as just a really good hitter, period, is normally an outstanding situational hitter. Such a smart player.
Because his primary focus is up the middle or to right center field.
Well, this is a bouncing ball to second. He's got to get up the line. There's one. They won't double him up, and he gets the ribby home. So it's 4-0. Hundley scores. Blackman going hard into second, and DJ running well up the line. And for DJ, his 30th RBI.
And he takes the ball the other way. D. Gordon had to slide to his right to start to turn this. Good turn there. Good turn by the shortstop, Echeverria. But DJ hustling down the line. Yeah, he beat that. There's no reason to look at that on replay. And a huge run tacked on.
Tulowitzki has a 12-game hitting streak on the line. He's 0 for 2 and a walk. 12-gamer matching a stretch he put together in August of 2007 for the longest in his career. Barnes at third, LeMahieu at first. DJ takes off, and he'll steal the bag easily. No throw.
7th stolen base for DJ.
Two balls and a strike. Tulowitzki tied for second in baseball among shortstops in RBIs. Johnny Peralta, Brandon Crawford, we talked about it, having a huge year with the Giants. 3-1. Cargo's on deck. And there's not a left-hander up, so if Cishek were to lose Tulowitzki, he'd have to face Gonzalez.
Well, they've used their left-handed specialist, Mike Dunn, the last 2 days. Brad Hand's just moving back from the rotation out to the pen. They're a little limited with their lefties. And they're trailing 4-0. Sure, that's the other reason why Dan Jennings didn't have one of them up.
Inside, ball 4. They're loaded up again, and here comes Cargo. His last at bat, he hit a ball about 9 feet in the air off the right center field wall. Just blistered a double.
Well, you can't pull the shift because you have a runner at third. So that's going to create more holes on the right side.
Here's the ball he hit in the 6th inning. This is a vintage Cargo swing and result. I mean, Stanton Could barely get back, and it ricocheted off the wall. The center fielder Ozuna had to throw it back in. One strike on Cargo.
And that was a pitch that Cishek had been missing with, and part of the reason why he was sent down. He was optioned to Jacksonville on June 1st.
Oh, 2. This is with a 92-mile-an-hour heater, and it's 1-2. Rockies have 4 runs on just 4 hits, but the Marlins have been blank. They have only 2 hits against Jorge De La Rosa. Top of the 7th inning. Well, you could really break it open here with a knock. Cishek wins the battle with Cargo. Rockies leave them loaded. They do get a run. DJ an RBI ground out. So it's 4-0 Colorado, stretch time in Miami.
Over the Marlins coming up right after the post-game show, a new edition of Rockies Weekly. I got a chance to hang out with Dustin Lynch, country music star, Cowboys and Angels. Where it's at, we talk a little baseball. We'll give you Nolan by the numbers, trying to get him to the All-Star game. Spilly was at the draft in New York. And, of course, we're in Miami. We'll get you the highlights from the Cards and Miami series coming up on Rockies Weekly right after the game. Guys?
Mark, thank you very much. Rockies enjoying a 4-0 lead as Jorge De La Rosa will throw the 7th inning. It's Jeff Baker, JT Realmuto, and Adeiny Echeverria. Just 2 hits allowed by De La. He's looking for his fourth victory of the year and his 73rd in a Rockies uniform. That would be the most all-time. He's currently tied with Aaron Cook for most victories in franchise history. Haven't gotten the crowd yet today, but I can tell you that yesterday they had a crowd of 26,647. And one thing that they added in the postgame notes yesterday, there were also 389 dogs here. That's a first.
I've never seen that in the post-game notes.
No, we've seen plenty of bark in the park days around baseball.
But not where they officially tally the number of dogs.
And also, as importantly, or maybe even more importantly, there was 118 dogs adopted yesterday because they had it set up when we were leaving the ballpark. They had this whole area set up where you could adopt dogs, which is just awesome. And 118 were adopted yesterday. So 389 in attendance, and then another 118 went home with a new family.
That is just so nice of those people to adopt the dogs and Give him a loving family.
Want to know why? You want to know why?
Why?
Because dogs are people too.
I would agree with that.
Jeff Baker here in the 7th. Baker has one of the 2 hits. There was a double in the 2nd inning. And the first pitch misses from Dela. That's his 89th pitch. And just in case, Boone Logan on the left side and Scott Oberg on the right side. Change up, and it's 1-1. Baker came up with the Rockies originally in 2005. He was with them through 2009. So both the World Series team and the playoff team, the 92 win team of 2009. Remember that hit he had in the 07 postseason? Yes. Single through the right side.
A lot of heroes that year.
Yeah.
Well, every night it was somebody else.
And I think to get to the promised land in baseball, that's always going to be the story. You're going to rely heavily on certain guys, but you have to have a whole slew of guys coming through. It's fouled off. Brad Hand is now throwing for the Marlins. Baker hit 22 home runs, drove in 88, 231 games with the Rockies. 257 average. Two and 2 on Jeff. 3 and 2. Baker moved from Colorado to the Cubs, was with the Cubs into 2012. 2 other teams in 2012, Detroit and Atlanta. 2013 with Texas. And last year, signed a 2-year deal with Miami.
He's a perfect fit for a National League club. I think he fits better there than he does because he can play third base, he can play first base, run him to the outfield, come in against a tough left-hander, start or off the bench.
Son of a colonel. And that's ball 4. In fact, Jeff was born in Germany.
Follow the Rockies with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live Rockies baseball. At Bat is up to the moment. Any moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat now.
Walt has not made a signal, if you're wondering. We've seen Walt do this quite a bit. He's going to check with Jorge, and Jorge already, before Walt got there, saying, I'm okay.
Well, that's why managers will go out there. They want to look that pitcher in the eye because they're going to make the final decision, but they want to know, do you have this? Do you want this?
See, I'm all about that, too, and it started a few years back. Rather than the information being relayed by a pitching coach, not that you don't trust the pitching coach, but it's now his interpretation of what he saw and heard. And if you're the manager, because the buck stops with the manager.
Yes, it does.
You might as well make that trip yourself. You know, Walt has a close relationship with Steve Foster, and it has nothing to do with a lack of anything. It's just you making that decision. You go take a look. You go have that conversation.
But for Jorge, he immediately said, I'm fine, I want this. I know I just walked that guy, and that's going to drive you crazy as a manager. You got a 4-0 lead, we gave you another run, and you walked the leadoff hitter. Okay, now what are you going to do?
That's foul also. Listen, we all love Jorge, but you know that when Jorge's on the mound, you pack a little extra snack and
a little bit later dinner reservation.
Right. Jorge takes his time between pitches. He's going to have some deep counts. But at the end of the day, most of the time, and the record shows this, you're shaking hands.
It's all that matters.
Just missed 1 and 2.
There's no clock. There's no shot clock. I know there is now this year with the clock in between pitches, but it's not an official. Like you got to get that pitch off before the buzzer rings.
And is this hit hard enough for two? There's one on the first, not quite in time.
I didn't think so.
Yeah, we've discussed this quite a bit. Real Muto does not run like your typical catcher.
And also, you could hear the bat crack as he hit that ball. So he catches it off the end. Troy's going towards the short, or to the hole in between short and third. It's a strong throw to DJ. He transferred. But Realmuto hustling the whole way. Even let up at the end.
That's a good look at stride. I mean, he can run. Athletic kid. Adeiny Echeverria, 0 for 1 and a walk. And this isn't hit all that hard. And a smart play. Get outs. When you're up by 4 runs, get out. You'll hear guys yell that on the field. And DJ may have been able to flip to Troy to get the lead runner, but it would have been dicey. He said, I'm going to get the easy one.
You played to the scoreboard. And that's what DJ did. He knows Ichiro's they're gonna pinch hit for the pitcher. But if he makes a kind of a wild throw to second, you don't get that guy. The runner gets to first. Now 2 runners on and only 1 out.
So Ichiro, who makes a daily appearance as a pinch hitter, is up there with 2 outs. And he takes a strike. 10-time All-Star, 10 Gold Gloves. Of course, when he arrived in 2001, he not only was the league MVP, since it was his first year, he was the Rookie of the Year also. One and one.
4,159 hits combined.
Yeah, and his career average in the States is 317, which is extraordinary. But honestly, when I saw that, I went and double-checked it when the Rockies played the Marlins in Denver. I said, it's got to be higher than that, doesn't it?
Seemed like it, but still.
I mean, 317 is extraordinary. But I mean, you remember when he first came up, it was, he's 262 hits in 2004, and he was hitting 350 and 360. Two outs in the 7th. Here's the 2-1 on Ichiro, and he fouls it off. It's 2-2. 41-year-old.
Yeah, but you mentioned, Nick Hundley getting here early. When we got here, Ichiro was in the outfield. He wasn't starting. His name was already not in the starting lineup, but he was doing sprints at 10:15 this morning. That's how you stay in tip-top shape.
And this is poked to center for a base hit, and he's going to drive in a run. That's kind of a classic Ichiro swing. And yesterday, we talked about the fact that Ichiro, even though it looks like he's running out of the box, the bat stays back, and that's what enabled him kind of to just punch this into center field.
He's pinch hit in all 4 games. He's 2 for 3 with a walk, and that was Ichiro. I mean, the heel, his front heel is not, it's down in the ground, but his toe's not, but the barrel stays there the whole time.
De La Rosa now try to get the 3rd out with D. Gordon at the plate, and this is going to be a tough play, and no play. Once that hopped over De La's head, the way Gordon runs, DJ had no opportunity for either Ichiro or Gordon.
And he couldn't beat Ichiro to the ball. If he beats him to the ball, then you could tag him or make the throw to second base. Because it wasn't hit very hard, he couldn't really intersect where that ball and where Ichiro were going to be. Ichiro just gets by DJ. And then Ichiro was too smart. You're wondering, wait, did he go out of the baseline? He can do that because he has got to get out of the way of the fielder.
Donovan Solano up.
Oh,
they had him picked off, and De La didn't look back.
They had him picked so bad, and De La Rosa didn't look back.
Ichiro steals third.
Watch Troy just flash the glove to second base. Comes up, flash, and Troy's jumping up saying, man, if you would have just picked, we would have got him an inning over.
One strike on Solano. 4-1 Colorado in the 7th. Driven to right, but it's going to go foul. And a 2-strike count.
493rd stolen base for Ichiro.
Stole one in yesterday's game. Ground ball right side. DJ's got it. Solano retired. And so are the Marlins in the 7th. They do come up with a run. It's 4-1 as we move on to the 8th. The Rockies in front in Miami. By T-Mobile. We go back to the first inning. It's already 1-0 Colorado on a home run by Charlie Blackmon, and then Arenado makes it 3-0. His 16th home run of the year, a 2-run shot. And the Rockies were out front early, 3-zip. They're enjoying a 4-1 lead now as we go to the 8th inning. And Nolan will lead things off against the left-hander Brad Hand. The hard-throwing left-hander that the Marlins have in their bullpen.
Bounce back and forth between the rotation and the bullpen. Made 3 starts, 1-1 with the 6.17. A little bit better out of the pen, 0-1, but still a higher ERA, 5.45. Fastball 92-95, big curveball, and a changeup.
A strike at 92 on the corner. Native of Minneapolis, Minnesota. In fact, he was a former Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Minnesota, senior year in high school. On the ground is short. We do have the attendance now, Huey. 20,879. No dogs.
No, they didn't have that today. Still, the best shot from yesterday was that dog sitting in between those two people with his jersey on.
Eating
pizza.
And a little perturbed when he wasn't getting a slice fast enough.
Hey, over here.
Yeah. Ben Paulson robbed of a double his last time up by Yelich. 2 outs. Nick Hundley will be next with 2 gone and nobody on. Who wants tacos? Fans follow @RootsSports_RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more runs. Change up down low. 2-0 on Nick. Nick's been on base twice today. Scored a run. Had this conversation with Corey Dickerson. I know you would like this also. Find something, one thing at the end of the day that you can point out that you did that helped your club win. And for Corey, it's like, if I can get one hit or make a play defensively, because we focus so much on numbers and the expectations are always so high. Well, guess what? You're not going to go 3 for 4 every ball game. You're not going to have 3 stolen bases every game. You're not maybe going to have an opportunity to make a diving catch, but do one little thing. And the reason I thought about that, Nick Hundley's 0 for 1, but he was hit by a pitch. He had a walk. Leading off the 7th inning, he eventually scored. It's now a 4-1 ball game. If not, we're talking 3-1. You know, Stanton's looming next inning, and you don't feel as comfortable.
This game is built so much too on negative. What happened to you negatively? So you have to draw on something positive. I would also take it one step further for Nick. The job he did today with Jorge behind the plate.
Sure.
Keeping him in line, keeping everything how he wanted to throw. You didn't see too many shakeoffs.
Strike 3 on Hundley. So Brad Hand works a 1-2-3 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Rockies 4 and the Marlins 1. The work of Jorge De La Rosa, 7 innings, 109 pitches. He allowed just 1 run, and that came in his last inning of work. 4 walks, 4 punch-outs. And De La Rosa in line for his 4th victory of the year and his 73rd as a Rocky, which would be a club record. 72 and 48 coming in. There's the line score on this game. Not a lot of hits again. Rockies do have the runs, though. The big blow, the 2-run home run in the first by Arenado. Blackman had a home run in the first as well. Boone Logan is on, I would guess, just to face Christian Yelich. We'll see. Yelich, Stanton, Ozuna. So the lefty and then 2 righties. Tommy Kahnle is throwing still in the Rockies' pen.
Because of that 107 average against left-handers. And I know Boone's come in the last 2 games giving up home runs, but both of those to the right-handed batters.
Check swing, and here comes Arenado. Good play. Important that Nolan got the hop that he did by coming hard.
And he got it, and then he made sure that he put some mustard behind that throw. And as expected, Walt's going immediately to the bullpen. Boone came in, threw a couple pitches, did his thing, and they'll turn it over to Tommy to face the 2 right-handers.
And a little different role for Tommy Kahnle. We'll embellish that thought when we come back. 1 out in the 8th inning. The Rockies leading 4-1. Rockies ahead 4-1, and he'll face Tommy Kahnle on for the 7th time. Tommy spent most of this year in Albuquerque. Last year he was on the big league roster the whole year. You know he's got a great arm, right? He's hitting just .077 against him. But this is a new role. Plus side, high leverage situation potentially with a 3-run game. You're in the middle of the order, and Walt's calling on Kahnle now to get 2 right-handed hitters, one being Stanton.
And for Tommy, it's an opportunity for him. He came in on Thursday night, went an inning and 2/3, 3 punch-outs. He has that strikeout ability. We saw the numbers that righties are hitting just .077 against him because of that electric fastball that he has.
And I'll tell you what, man, the last couple times we've seen Tommy, he's had some natural cut on the ball. It was 96, and that thing cut 1.5 feet. And a heavy swing and a miss. It's 1-1.
Stanton hitting .251 against right-handers this year, .295 against the lefties. Actually went down .283. It was .295 coming into the game.
And that fastball looked like it was at the top of the strike zone, but called the ball. 2-1. And you look at the fourth strike zone. And 3-1.
I'm Nick. I just call for the fastball, sit up on the middle of the plate, and let the natural movement take it.
Well, again, it's understanding situation. 3-2. If he hits the ball 5 miles, it's 4-2.
That's where the other run comes in that the Rockies scored in the 7th. And that's what Nick did. He just set up right at the knees, split the middle.
A liner with a broken bat that'll get into left field for a base hit for Stanton.
I'd rather take that than the walk.
Sure.
He had to earn it. Be sure to check out Great Clips Charity Cuts on June 18th. Stop by the Great Clips kiosk near left field for a free haircut from a Great Clips stylist, with all donations going to Colorado Rockies charities.
Marcell Ozuna. 1 out, 1 on. Rockies up by 3.
Last couple days, they've kept the ball away from Ozuna. Made him reach for it.
Boy, that's a heavy fastball, man. He rears back and fires it at 96 to 98. It's a 1-2 count on Ozuna. De La Rosa, 7 innings, a 1-run baseball. 4 hits allowed. That's all against De La Rosa. Logan got the first out of the inning. Stanton a single a moment ago. It's 1-2 now on Ozuna. We're in the 8th. He's got him. 2 outs. Went to the slider.
No, that was the
fastball. Wow, that slider movement.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at the movement, and then I see 97 flashed up there. How do you hit that? That thing cut. Look at the movement of this ball late.
You don't hit it. Ozuna was a day late on the swing. Tommy gets his first strikeout, second out of the inning, and they'll pinch hit Justin Bour, the left-hander, for Bake.
I don't remember Tommy having that kind of cut last year. Do you?
No, and I don't remember it being. I mean, sometimes it was 97. We saw a lot of 95, 96, but it was a 4-seam straight fastball.
He has the body to throw hard. Big, wide shoulders, big, strong legs. Kid from upstate New York in the Albany area. Justin Bour. Inside ball 1 at 97. overthrown a little bit, 2-0.
And immediately, Nick was gesturing to Tommy, don't overthrow it, stay back. Just let your arm do the work. You start to rush it, you'll leave the ball up. Trail with the arm.
Three now. On deck is JT Realmuto. You don't want, obviously, the tying run coming to the plate. So take that walk, regather your thoughts. If you're Tommy Kahnle.
He's not going to be swinging 3-0, down by 3.
So it's 3-1. That was well located. 3-2.
More of a defensive swing. That was a 1-2 or 2-2 swing rather than a 3-1.
Here's the 3-2. On the ground, harmlessly to first. Paulson to Kahnle, and Tommy gets the job done. After the base hit by Stanton, he struck out Osuna, comes all the way back after being behind 3-0 and gets Realmuto. 4-1 Rockies off to the ninth. About the surprise fees. Here at Marlins Park, the Rockies 4 and the Marlins 1. Rockies trying to snap a 4-game losing streak. Let's go back to our Root Sports studios in Denver and Jenny Kapnar. Jenny? I don't want to see the S on his chest.
No.
Nor do our loyal viewers. Brandon Barnes has an S on his chest, and he will lead things off against Brad Hand here in the ninth inning with the Rockies up by 3 runs. Trying to bunt his way on, and it's a miss, 0-1. John Axford naturally has begun his preparations for the bottom of the ninth inning.
Impressive piece of work from Tommy after giving up the hit to Stan. Comes back, strikes out Osuna, and falling behind for 3-0. And getting him to ground out weakly.
Williams on deck for the Rockies for Kahnle. A growth moment for Kahnle.
Really was. because last year you're trying to just ease him in as a Rule 5 guy. You don't want to put him into too high situations. We saw a lot of 2-inning appearances, 1 2/3 from Tommy. But today, gets a chance to show what he can do. That's the delicate balance for a manager. When to put a guy in a situation. This is a big game. You need this game. You've lost 4 in a row and been 3 here in Miami.
There's a base hit for Barnesy. He's got a 2 for 4 afternoon going. 2 of the Rockies' 5 hits.
And both of them to right field. Lean Rosario will pinch hit. Lean 5 for 10 pinch hitting with a home run, a couple RBIs.
You know what? I like this move by Walt because Willeen, close to a .330 hitter lifetime against left-handed pitching. If there's a right-handed hitter out there and you had the leadoff guy Barnes reach, I think he would have gone Descalso or Inoa and tried to get a bunt down.
Play for the 1 run.
Play for 1 run. But with Willeen's ability to swing the bat, also, he wants him in there because tomorrow he's going to be in the starting lineup against Dallas Keuchel.
A DH or whatever you got going on in Houston. You kind of forget that now Houston's in the American League.
You and I had this discussion at dinner last night. We keep having to remember that, yeah, Houston's in the other league now.
DH.
Sometimes in my head when I'm thinking of the standings in the NL Central, I'll count Houston in there, and then whoa, wrong league.
Well, I remember when Milwaukee was in the American League.
Sure.
That's when I played for him.
Two-strike count on the baby boat. And Brad Hand on 3 pitches able to strike out Willeen. 1 out, and that'll bring up Charlie. Time for our CenturyLink link to what's next. Good pitching matchup tomorrow. Chad Bettis will go for the Rockies against 7-2 Dallas Keuchel of the Astros. And then Tuesday afternoon, no television. Chris Russin will have the baseball for Colorado. And a good-looking rookie, Vincent Velasquez, will go for Houston. They have stockpiled young talent with the number of tough years they've had after Bagwell and Biggio and those guys moved on. Some of that talent's arriving in the big leagues.
Correa, we'll see him at shortstop. He had Lance McCullers, a former son of a big league pitcher, pitching today. Keuchel, .95 whip.
Question will be, will we see Jose Altuve?
Well, he wasn't in the starting lineup today with a sore hamstring. Missed yesterday, came out of the game on Friday night.
As we all know, hamstring's a delicate injury to deal with. Houston has suffered through 6 straight losing seasons. They were having a great year until the last 10 days. Where they lost 8 of 9? Or was it 9 of 10 now?
9 of 10. 35 and 28 heading into today.
Christian Yelich in left field coming on. He'll make the catch. And that'll bring up DJ. The 2 Rockies with hitting streaks have been held without a hit in this game. DJ, an 8-gamer coming in, drove in a run on an RBI ground out in the 7th, and Tulowitzki had a 12 gamer. He's 0 for 2 and 2 walks. Troy's on deck, so you know it'd be appropriate. DJ gets a hit, saved an opportunity for Troy, and he gets a hit.
Watch it.
First guy to watch it was Tulowitzki. He had to duck.
Looks like everybody's okay.
Off the plate.
John just pacing around. He's ready. A couple extra toss on the bullpen.
One, two on DJ. Strike 3. And fans LeMahieu. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Rockies looking for 3 more outs, and they'll hand the baseball to the big right-hander John Axford. And may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. We're indoors, but it's always pleasant outside, except you have to take about 4 showers a day down here in South Florida this time of year. Rockies enjoying what they see on the scoreboard right now as opposed to the last 3 days here. They're up 4-1. John Axford looking to close it out. And looking for his 12th save and 12 save opportunities this year. And you look at what lefties hit against him and righties, and you understand why he's been perfect.
You know, just 11 for 65 to a combined 169 batting average. And you mentioned 11-11, just one of 3 National League relievers that have qualified for the save percentage of 100. And you're working at the bottom part of the lineup for Miami. Realmuto, Echeverria, and then Suzuki's already been used, so they'll go with Derek Dietrich, the other left-hander, and the last left-hander they have on the bench.
Yeah, they only have 2 players left on their bench, Dietrich and Jeff Mathis. Solano had to come in the first inning when Martin Prado tripped running up the baseline at first base, injured his shoulder. First pitch misses, ball 1.
He's hit a sprained right shoulder. That's the official word from the Marlins clubhouse. And you know that means he's day-to-day.
That's how it works typically. 2-0.
John needs to do a little gardening on the mound. He stumbled on the last throw.
And that misses. 3-0. John Axford puts his head down. He walks Real Muto leading off. Bring up the Danny Echeverria.
Troy going in to check, make sure everything's okay. Walk Real Muto, who was going to take till he got a strike anyway. I think Echeverria will do the same thing.
Well, he's got one now. It's 0-1. Derek Dietrich in the on-deck circle.
You don't want to pitch a Danny up. There's trouble with the ball down.
John Axford, 9 career saves against the Marlins. Two and one. Native of Cuba fouls it off. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You saw the slider from John. When pitchers having trouble locating the fastball, they'll change it up. They'll go to that slider to get a bit different feel and a different release point.
Two struck him out. 1 out in the 9th inning with the Rockies up 4-1.
And this is just a blow by the hitter fastball. Wanted it away. With the extra explosion, you'll get the strikeout, and they got it for Echeverria.
Yeah, it's a great example. Not that he missed his location by a ton, he really didn't, but it's a great example of what you and George Spilly always say. that when you're throwing above 95 miles an hour, there's greater margin for error. If that's 90 or 88 and you miss by 6 inches, could be a problem.
Even 92, you can still get there. Once you climb above 94, that's the magic number for me.
Dietrich takes a strike. Dietrich just a couple of days ago returned to the big leagues. Oh, and 2 on the pinch hitter. What did he try to catch that with? A bag?
A bag. It looked like a grocery bag. Free giveaway day. Throw it up. And still missed it.
He got the strikeout.
He kicked it. The runner's got to go back to first.
Well, first of all, he can't go anywhere anyhow.
No, but the runner was going to second, but when he interfered with the ball, that causes the runner to have to go back to first.
Right, but you didn't.
No, because first base was occupied in less than two outs. You get the strikeout, ball kicks away in front, and then he takes off running and kicks it, not allowing Nick the opportunity to grab the ball to throw out the runner going to second.
So after
you're
all that,
you're
we're
back to where you started,
except there's 2 outs. D. Gordon at the plate. And D takes a strike at 95. Gordon has 2 of the 5 hits for the Marlins. Lenny Harris jumps out of the way. Yep, 0-2. Barnes is playing. He's playing where teams used to play Juan Pierre, like 15, 18 feet off the left field line and shallow.
They've been right 2 times today.
And now Troy Tulowitzki's aligning the defense a little bit, moving Blackman slightly toward left center. And the runner was moving, Real Muto. The Rockies
don't even worry about him.
Less about him.
And now you'll tell, as infielders and the catcher, you'll tell the catcher, don't even throw, because I don't want to abandon my position. I want to stay still so I don't create a hole that D can hit through.
Here's the 0-2. And the only reason right now that Huntley's going out is because there's a runner at second. He's going to have to flash multiple signs, make sure that they are in agreement as to which sign will be the live one. Tulo's going to run through that bag and
step on it.
Real Muto looks down and says, hey. Actually, if you've watched Troy Tulowitzki long enough, I think everybody in baseball knows that's what he does when he returns from the mound. 1-2 on Gordon with 2 outs. He's supposed to swing at that. Hard slider. 2-2. After Gordon struggled in the Dodgers organization as a shortstop, they sent him to the Dominican Republic to learn in the winter ball how to play center field. That went okay, but then they sent him to Puerto Rico later that winter to play second base, and that's where he ended up sticking.
Pick a position.
2-2. Got him. Ball game over. Rockies win at the end of the 4-game slide 4-1. John Axford saves it for Jorge De La Rosa, who's now the all-time winningest pitcher in Rockies history. Arenado a 2-run home run early. Home run from Blackman as well. And the Rockies salvage the final game of a 4-game set here in Miami. Again, the final score 4-1. Not a lot of hits, just 5 for each team. But the Rockies on the right end of things. So again, Jorge De La Rosa gets the victory. He's now 73-47 in a Rockies uniform. Dan Herron takes his first loss at home this year. Overall, he is 6-3. The save once again to John Axford. Time to get you out west. It'll be a happy Toyota postgame show. Here's Jenny and Spilly.